Yeah, I'm a little under the weather. So
Oh
I
no.
I'm not going to be on camera today. So,
You look that bad, huh, Steve?
well, Marty, it's usually you wouldn't want me on camera, period. But especially today. So
That's
Yeah,
what he
I
says
hear
about me.
yeah. So anyway,
You
good
think
to
it's
hear your
cold?
voice, Marty.
yeah. Well, feel better. I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Feel better.
Were you hanging out with Matt because he's not well?
No, just a coincidence.
Oh, okay.
Although, who knows, right? So
Yeah.
Well, do you want to postpone this meeting, Steve?
no. Let's do the meeting. No,
Okay.
let's do it. I'm working. I just like I said, I'm not in business attire and sort of not appropriate for camera. So let's go. I'm gonna turn it to you, Kat. Okay.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Well, it's usually your meeting, right? Is this how we usually? I wasn't here last year.
okay. No, we try to communicate, Marty and I, in some way, and usually it's through Dawn at times, but usually, and also it can be through email. But I think during this kind of time with you coming in and all, and Marty being on, I think we can discuss, our hopes for next year. What are the goals that you're going for? You've talked to the salespeople. You have 2 of them on, right?
Yep.
And so I want to know what your goals are for this next year. What do you worry about that's coming up that you need to, think about, or that we can strategize against, and maybe helping the situation? I want to know what your thoughts are in that respect for next year.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll speak for a minute. And maybe Marty can add, and then we'll go to Dave and Matt. One, I want to refresh the brand, but I don't want to move off the brand. Okay. So that's really important. I think everybody, when they look at a Lovell ad, knows it's Lovell, right? They know right away that's Lovell. So I want to occasionally freshen that up a little bit, but I don't want to move away from that.
Okay, what do you mean by refresh? What do you mean by that?
Well, try some new things periodically, new imagery, new message. But I think the stock messages that we've been using, and every year it's a little bit of a different variation or emphasis from what I'm told, having spoken to staff. I don't think we should wander too far from there. That's just my opinion. I think, the marketplace knows who we are. They know what we have to offer. We just need to keep reminding them. And so occasionally I'd like to do something a little bit differently. So they're like, well, wait a minute, that's not typical Lovell. Let me look at that. It's sort of almost a ring the bell type thing. But outside of that, I think our emphasis for next year needs to be on growth, and pricing, and emphasizing, our pricing is great because we have great services. The services drive the results, which drive the great pricing and dividends. So that theme, which I know is a theme that we've used year in and year out, variations of that. I think we need to put as fresh a spin on that as we can. But I think ultimately as an organization, I think growth should be our focus. But with that, I'd like to see what Marty has to say, if he doesn't mind.
Yeah, no. So I mean, not much has changed, Kat, from last year, if you will. So the market is still very competitive, and we still have the problem with the general GL insurance. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I don't think much has changed. So every year we try and figure out what the market is doing and what we should emphasize. So I don't disagree with what Steve said. I mean, growth certainly, we're always looking for growth, but why should they come to us or with us or our program when pricing is relatively competitive? But I think Steve hit on it a little bit. I mean, our pricing is good and people would come to us if they weren't, you know, they didn't have roadblocks, which is the GL or other states coverage and so forth. So I guess emphasizing price, and I guess he's right too. I would emphasize obviously the services. Although quite frankly, people these days, it seems to be the bottom line that they're most interested in, especially when it comes to the other insurances, So I don't know if much would change with regard to our program. I mean, I don't know. How about Dave? You have anything to kind of add to that?
And before we move to Dave, I just want to add that
Okay.
I do think, and I think that I might be taking something out of Dave's wind here before, but I do think that we have to get ready for the multi-state coverage with NICEF, and that's going to need to be one of our big pushes. I had that in my notes.
Yeah, I agree if they ever get the damn thing off the ground. But
So what does this, wait a minute, what does this mean? You're gonna multi-state, are you now going in additionally out of New York and into New Jersey, Connecticut?
To a
What's that?
certain extent. So if everyone doesn't mind, I'll answer a question.
No, go ahead,
The
Dave.
Insurance Fund of New York will now be, or does have the ability to write workers' comp coverage for companies that have operations in other states. As long as New York is the bulk of their business, they'll be able to expand and write all of that. It was signed into law a year ago, and they've been working on the logistics of putting it in place. They had mentioned that it would be ready in the fall. Last, I think we said was hopefully by the end of the year. I expect in December, they'll say coming soon this spring, until they get it all together. But that will give us the opportunity to get back some business we had lost, and assist our clients that are with us now that already have multi-state operations that have been staying with us, and write some new business that we might not have had an opportunity for.
I see. Can you give me an example of a company?
I have, for example, Castleman Solar. It's a solar electrical company. They have operations here in New York. They also do work in Massachusetts. Now, currently, their broker has their Massachusetts coverage on its own standalone policy. I don't know how that's priced compared to what options we'll have for them to move the comp into the state insurance fund with us. We might be able to beat the price. We might be able to match the price, but it may be easier for them to keep the comp with one carrier instead of having multiple policies.
So it's not just, like I said, New Jersey, Connecticut, but it's really
all
everywhere.
states. All states. It could be Alaska.
This is big.
It's very big.
But Kat, don't misunderstand here.
Okay.
It's not the same program for these other states that it is for the safety group operation. It's just an ability to be able to cover their other state operations. But to my knowledge, it's not going to be part of the group program. It's going to be separate. Does anybody have any?
No, that's the last we heard, Marty. That's the last we heard, is the same thing from a few months back.
Yeah. So from your perspective, Kat, I mean, first of all, we don't know when it's effective, right? So you can't kind of advertise that until we know when the heck it's going to happen, and we have to be careful how we advertise. It's not a group. It's not going to be a group program, but it's going to allow us to be able to write this stuff to make it easier for
company
a prospect. Correct. There are people who have excuses or real reasons to not come with us because they have other state operations, and it's more convenient to have it all on one carrier, so to speak,
Yeah.
So hopefully eliminate that objection to some degree.
I see. But down the road, it could be something we could imply.
Yes, well, you could advertise it, but we just don't know when,
Okay.
I think initially, as it's all getting started, most likely, and I don't know if Steve and Marty would agree, or everyone else, that the message essentially would be that we have the coverage available for you without really any details of it. Let them contact us. And what we've been doing, our salesmen, our field reps, we're trying to start and maintain a list of our existing customers that we know that have operations in other states. So when it's ready, if they can move, depending upon when their policies come up for renewal, because they can't just do it at any time, they got to wait for the other ones to renew, to maybe move them in. And those will be some of the early test ones that we get to put our hands on and write and see how it gets priced out.
Well, would they eventually be able to have all the services that Lovell has?
Well, that's difficult. If you have operations here in New York and you're down in Florida, our Lovell field people are in New York. I don't think Marty's going to expense their trips down to Florida to provide you with loss
No, I'll
control
ta-
services.
No, I think I'll unretire and take care of that.
Well, you could do the Florida, right? You know, maybe I'll go to like Arizona or something and I'll cover that state,
All right.
you know. But yeah, it'll be difficult. There will be services that are going to be provided from them. This program, again, without getting crazy into the details of what we know, which isn't much, is going to be a joint operation between the New York State Insurance Fund and Zurich, which is a very large private carrier. So they will have the ability to provide some services outside of New York. Again, the details of that are still forthcoming of what they would be willing to do.
Well,
So Kat,
yeah,
yes,
I'm here.
So think of it as almost like we're not really going after New Jersey coverage and Florida coverage. What we're doing is we're adding the ease of business to a New York employer who has ancillary operations in other states. That's not really their primary location, right? You know, that's really that target, right? So a contractor that does more than transitory work, very short little jobs, who has to get coverage from New Jersey. Most of the employees he's using are New York. They are covered, but he may pick up some union labor when he's in New Jersey for some contractual reason. We can provide them coverage under the Zurich paper, and that is sort of how I think that's the target point for who we're looking to who we're looking to hit with this personally. And I hope that provides you a little bit more clarity.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it seems like right now we can't really go out of, go lambasting out about this news because it's sort of on shaky ground now. It will happen, but we're not firmly integrated yet. Is that correct?
I think when it happens, we'll do some kind of announcements, I think,
Okay. Yeah.
But, as far as the program for the annual program, if you will, at this point, I don't think you can include that. I know you can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But it's good to know that it's, in the wind.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Where's Bill Neely? Anybody know?
Bill just dialed in. He's been having trouble for the past 5-10 minutes trying to get in from his computer. So he missed a little bit of the conversation.
Oh, okay.
I'm here. Can you
He's
hear
there
me?
now. Can hear you, Bill. Yep.
Yeah, we hear you.
I can send you
Perfect.
a copy of our meeting if you,
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
so you can catch up. Mhm. All right.
So I really think part of our emphasis needs to be the ease of doing business. We make it easy for people to do business, right? And that's sort of what the success of Lovell has been, right? You don't have to really deal with nice. If I'm pleased, we can't have that as our message, but we have to figure out how to have that message.
Easy
we
business.
we make the complicated uncomplicated. That's what the staff does. And we've been doing some stuff to make things a little bit easier for people to do business with us. So we just start slowly rolling out this quick estimate tool online. I think that should continue to be an emphasis come the new year, personally. And I know I'm getting sort of into the weeds a little bit, but I really think that needs to be sort of an emphasis of how easy, we make it easy. We make the difficult easy. So I'm not quite sure exactly how that message should be shaped, but I do think that's what sort of, people come, they get insured with us, they start getting the dividends, and they love us. They love the services we provide, and many of them don't want to leave even when the price is more. There's a lot to be said for that, and it's I think maybe that's a story we need to tell as one of our areas of emphasis.
Okay. And do you want to give an example how you make it easy?
I had a broker I spoke with last week for the first time, was very unfamiliar with the situation, explained to him how the groups work, explained to him the process of us getting him a quote, giving him the quote, what he should do when he presents it. We wound up writing the account today, and all he did was thank me for the effort because it's not something he had done before, and he was very appreciative of it. So we make what seems to be difficult or people appear to be difficult through our expertise of doing it so long, make it simple.
Well, I think it's also depends, we solicit two ways. We solicit obviously a client, but most of it's through the broker. So I think an emphasis could be we make it easy for the broker, because once we get involved, the broker, really doesn't have to do anything. And a lot of brokers have told me that that's the reason they put the comp with us, is because they don't have to deal with, certainly they don't want to deal with the state fund. And not having to deal at all with the issues, the claims, safety, everything's taken care of. Brokers are inclined to give us the business that's one of the reasons. So again, it's easy for the broker and it would be easy for the client. So I don't know how that message, it's two messages really. So
So for
Yeah,
the
we-
broker, they also don't have to, expend their resources
yeah, that's what I'm
and their
saying.
people and
Give
their
it to us,
time.
and, yeah, they don't,
So,
they can pretty much forget about it once
Yeah.
it's with us, so.
They're in good hands.
Yeah.
we can't
Danny
use
used to say that
Allstate,
all the
though,
time.
right?
Danny used
Can't
to
use
do
it.
that all the time, Marty. It's a
What's
good
that?
deal, right? It's a good deal. He'd put his hands, you're in good hands. It's a good deal. That was Danny the whole time. But he wrote,
Mar-
so.
Yeah,
But Marty hit
yeah.
the nail on the head. We make it, it's a simple placement for the broker, and then it's cruise control from there on. It's renewal after renewal after renewal after renewal. They don't make as much money as they might with another carrier, but they make what I call effortless money through us.
Yeah,
that we
so
need to
that could be
emphasize.
some kind of theme there, Kat, for the broker advertising.
Yeah. Which we're focusing in on PIA and IA magazines. And the rest of the trades, we are thinking that that's focused on the end user, the groups.
Right.
So there's two things I wanted to bring up. One, our mainstay in the marketplace, and Dave pointed this out, but Barry and I were talking about the Launders Group. It's going to be 100 years old next year. 100 years. Okay. And the moving and storage is 80 years. 80 years we've been partnering with these people and had a program for them. 100 years for the other one. The program's been in existence in that. These are it just doesn't compare. Nobody has those kind of relationships like that. They don't exist typically in the market, in the world today. So I think that, when we're marketing to, we'll call it the associations, we need to really hammer home our long-term relationship and why that has been successful for them, for us, and for our mutual clients. That to me is something that sets Lovell apart. And I'm not quite sure how to say exactly how to say it. In a few words, but I really think, when we're targeting those associations, we really need to talk about our long-term relationship and how that's helped their membership. And, and we can build on that. I don't know what anyone else's thoughts on that are, but to me, I think that's a really an important point. We sort of say since 1936, but this is a little bit different.
Well, the laundry group, the one that's 100 years old, is not an association group. And that predates us. We took it over.
Of course, yes.
The moving and storage, though, that's an association group. So, that can be used with them, certainly as a selling point with them. I don't know. The group that we formed, really, 469, is I'm not sure how old that group is.
60 or 61.
something like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 160.
Yeah, I remember, being at a convention and saying, as a reporting basis, that one day that group will be $10 million. Can you imagine? I was bragging that it could get that high. So, for them, certainly that would be, something that should be mentioned, how long that, especially with a construction group. I mean, it's a high risk group, and we managed successfully to give them, very good dividends and discounts, and how about our roofers group? I mean, State Fund at one time didn't even want to write any roofers, and we've made it successful. So another great example, a high risk industry that we've managed to be successful in. Just throwing these thoughts out to you, Kat, so.
Yeah, I wonder if there's something we could create that is just a celebration type of a feeling, we could create something that's sort of like a celebration of these associations or this group, being the launderers or the movers and storage. If we could create something that looks like we honor them and we celebrate with them, for their
Yeah,
use.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Well, we can easily get you the dates when the group started. Like it was I just looked it up. Group 469 was 1960.
Right.
Marty mentioned Group 411. That was 1948. We can easily get you the dates.
Okay, that'd be great.
So we can, if it's going to be geared that way, for 61 years or 62 years in partnership with the industry, if it's not an association, or in partnership with the association, if it is. We can get you that information very simply.
Okay.
And I think we started emphasizing some of these huge numbers that are involved, right? So on the website it says, okay, we returned over $1.15 billion in dividends to date.
Mhm.
The groups that we manage. Now, I'm thinking Dave had pointed this out because we're going up to the association. And it's ironic because the fund is starting to, I think Marty sent something on. They're starting to actually take some of our themes. But Dave, I think we have $100 million that's going back to the movers. So those are big numbers. I mean, they're staggering. And we need to point out, in my mind, those great successes because they don't exist elsewhere in the marketplace like that. And so to take that same theme and just build on it and put a financial metric associated with it, I think is really important.
Yeah. And do we allow other associations to see that, or just keep it within those groups?
No, we can let anybody see it, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's all success story stuff, I think. So
put it on social media, LinkedIn, whatnot.
Sure.
Okay.
Really, when it comes to comp, excluding all the issues that we have, that why people don't give it to us. I mean, there's no better programs, not just because it's us. I mean, just historically, longevity, services. I mean, it's a shame. We should be inundated with new business were it not for these outside issues, like the GL situation. So, it's unfortunate, but we hope that market will change, or we'll find a remedy for it. But that's the problem. If we could, get rid of that issue, we wouldn't know. We couldn't. I don't think could handle the amount of business we get. So anyway, just for FYI.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think with this information, we will start to generate some comps, and Marty knows how this process goes. Think of some things and see what interests him or you, Steve, going forward, and how we would use that particular ad, and we think about the whole year. Now, we can do that, but knowing full well that things may change at any point because of this situation with, what are we calling it?
The other,
Multi-state.
other states coverage, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
That's
so-
not gonna dramatically change everything.
Okay.
It's going to have hopefully a beneficial
Mhm.
effect, but I don't think, all of a sudden, we're gonna write all kinds of business because of it. I think
Okay.
No,
it'll be, slow and gradual, but
Right.
yeah.
'Cause
You
you're-
want some fries with the hamburger. It's sort of,
Which
you know,
in the beginning, small and gradual is better because the state fund needs to get used to doing something they've never done before. They're not
Right.
bringing in a whole new staff of people. So it's the same people that are going to be involved with it. So they need a gradual learning curve on it too. So
I see.
maybe
I-
slow and steady would be nice in the beginning for the first 6 months and then let it explode.
Yeah.
hey, I know. Go ahead, Marty.
No, go ahead. I'm done.
I was gonna just say, I know Matt's not feeling well and Bill just came on, but if there's any points of emphasis that they think we need to stress, for
Yeah.
Lovell, our brand, if you guys could speak up now, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing. When I think it would be good to have it at the top of our minds when we're looking at any piece of marketing information that we're going to put out there. We need to also think about who's the audience, and it's going to be, mostly the brokers, and they're going to be thinking about what's in it for me. And so that's one. And number two is everybody's attention is super fractured and short nowadays. So keeping things concise, to the point. What's the benefit for somebody to pick up the phone and call us? So I think that just needs to be, kind of the test for any piece that we're going to put out.
Okay. Well, we were just saying how we have, different target areas, like how we use, advertising. Certain publications are going to brokers. We know that that's what brokers pick up and look through. And work,
Sure.
And then there are other trades that are out there in the hinterlands, Syracuse, whatever, Buffalo, Rockets or whatever, have different periodicals that they read, and it's the groups, the associations that pick them up.
Gotcha. So then the question would be, what is it? What's in it for a client who's reading this association magazine to
Right.
call their broker and say, hey, why haven't you put me
Right.
with Lovell yet?
Yeah, that's right.
So I want to add to Matt's point. The call to actions need to be concise and they need to be meaningful to the person we're directing it to. So, so we may want to tailor our call to action, not to just be, oh, we have great safety and services. It may be, call us, or, go get a quick estimate. That might be the emphasis of the whole piece. And everything else is just sort of just supporting that. So I don't know if that's where Matt was going, but I think.
I think everything should just have, no matter what it is, go to lovellsafety.com/quick estimate. See how much you could save. That should be on everything.
Is there
Agreed.
a thing, quick estimate? Is that what it is?
We'll get you the link.
Okay. All right.
It also has a pretty cool cost comparison exhibit on the bottom, but that's more broker driven. The clients would have no clue as to what they were looking at,
Right.
but the brokers would.
Mhm.
And we'll figure out little messages we can to sort of drill that home with you. Okay.
Okay, good.
I think also one other thing to throw out there, since you're talking about, who we're targeting, the demographics of the brokers that we deal with as time goes by changes. The people that
Good
have been in
point,
it for
Dave.
20, 30 years are close to retiring, have retired, checking out a little bit. And there's a group of newer individuals that are in their 20s or early 30s. They don't see things and look to see things or get attracted by things the same as someone who's a little older, in their 50s or 60s. So I think, part of the refresh, if you want to call it that, we've
Yeah.
been trying to achieve,
Yeah.
is keeping the people that have been there, that have known us for years, to still be able to identify with who we are, but also trying to grab some of those newer people when they see it, at least visually in the appearance of, say, the website or maybe on the ads, that attracts them. So that's been a kind of like a hard thing to figure out how to do. That's not what we do. We don't, we're not marketing people necessarily. But what would get that younger crowd to show interest also, while
Mhm.
still holding the older crowd, I guess.
Got it.
So why do you think the younger crowd wouldn't respond the same way to an ad as the older crowd? What would you need to do with a
I
younger?
mean, I don't think any of these young guys are picking up the PIA magazine.
Yep. I think Matt hit that on the tape. We have to market to them
What
differently.
are they doing then?
Everybody's on Instagram and TikTok, just scrolling mindlessly in between emails. So
Sure, Matt's not far off the mark. I mean, LinkedIn or
like,
Facebook, TikTok, they're social media junkies.
Yeah.
They're living on their phones in their hand, probably more so than they are on their computers. Whereas, yeah, Twitter feeds. I mean, whereas someone else wants to see that magazine and get it, and as soon as they get it in the mailbox, when they catch their break, to thumb through it and see the ad and whatnot.
So, Kat,
Yeah.
I'd like to explore. I'm not saying we should do it. Like some type of really targeted Google Analytics advertising, because Google, you go to do a search, everyone sees this happening. When you're on it, if you've been someplace or done something, they're following you around with that, pushing that stuff to you.
Yeah.
So we could focus on just brokers. If we wanted to target an industry, we could target an industry. I think we'll be much more successful focusing on insurance brokers that are based in New York, and who have been on the internet searching for workers' comp or property and casualty. And we can, maybe try a little push ad to them, via either Google or LinkedIn. And, I don't want to spend a ton of money, but I think that gets to Matt's point, and Dave's, and I think Bill would consign. The demographics are changing, and why they will look at those traditional ads, and we need to do those, right? We absolutely cannot change. We own covers and back pages, and it's important that we don't ever lose that presence. We also need to try some of these newer methodologies for communicating, and I think that's what we're trying to say.
Would you be interested in something like Instagram and TikTok?
Someone's got to manage it though, and set stuff up and do all of that. Who's
Well,
going to do it?
That's what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think LinkedIn and Google would be my preferences. I'll defer to. I would like to hear from Google Ads and LinkedIn, but I want to hear what Matt and Bill might have to say about it. They're a little bit younger.
You want to know what Marty thinks about it?
Well, I'm a little confused here because I get what you're saying, Matt and Dave, that people are looking at other things, but why wouldn't they respond to an ad that was on these internet facilities?
I mean, I think they
Did
would
that change?
respond.
I mean,
No, I don't think that's changed. We're just saying that, the world's gone away from a hard copy of things and started to mold into the virtual world a little bit.
Yeah, no, I get that. My question, I guess, is, do we need to use different ads on these, on these social media sites?
Yeah, Marty, it has to adapt to the environment, the advertising environment we're talking about.
Right.
Like, it's the whole, the proportion of it, everything, and how it gets shown is, it's tailored to a different size. It's a different medium type, so it's different. Yeah, it's not like.
So you're all right. So, Kat, you're familiar with all this.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. So you need to give us some ideas then how to advertise on these sites.
Sure. Yeah.
And how it differs from the advertising that we're using, you know, in these old fashioned, if you will, publications that nobody reads anymore, according to these
No, we're
young.
not saying they don't read anymore. I'm not part of the young crowd. It's Matt that's the young crowd.
Yeah,
and
yeah, I
those
know.
stuck in
Matt
between.
is, you know, Matt's a little bit, he's gonna get himself in trouble, you know, with older people.
Well, you know,
So,
Marty, I got a foot in both worlds at 40. So
Right.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm just trying to get a handle on, you know, I hear what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, well, how do we then, what kind of ads do we need to use
I
in
don't know.
that?
We will
Gotta think
show
about
you. We will create some to show you.
Yeah, create some, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Matt's correct. This is a hybrid situation where there's a lot of older people, the boomers are getting older, and there's a crowd like 40ers that are coming up behind, and they're, you know, but there's this new kind of approach to advertising, and then it's the millennials, you know, that's who's
But
looking.
they
Scary
don't-
word.
They don't work, the millennials, right? They don't.
Scary
work.
word.
Well, they're
No,
We,
Matt
we don't do
described-
anything.
we just
Sit
need to
around.
we need to put our toe in that water.
I
We
agree.
don't want to move away from our traditional.
No,
Our brand is great, and we want to keep those ads, and we want to keep doing them. But we also need to, you know, freshen up and try some of these other areas, and we need to measure it because we don't want to just throw money at it and
no.
it doesn't result in anything.
We can do that.
So,
That can be done.
yeah. So if you could just come up with a simple concept for, you know, Google or LinkedIn, and, you know, get us an idea as to what kind of, you know, costs are associated with it.
And
I think,
Instagram.
you know, and
Instagram.
Instagram, I think it would be worth us exploring, not necessarily executing, but exploring. And it would be greatly appreciated.
Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned Google. Matt and I have, I guess we'll call him a shared broker, depending upon, you know, what he finds. We had a guy come to us about 3 weeks ago from out in California. Never was from New York. Younger guy, has been in the industry for a couple of years. The company he works for has been around for 15 or 20. They're sitting at their desks in California, soliciting business here in New York and becoming successful with it. And looking
Using
to us,
Facebook and Instagram
using
ads.
Facebook, Instagram ads. They found us in a Google search. They found Lovell, looking up workers' comp in New York. And I got a couple of things I'm working on with the guy right now.
So we need to do that too.
Yeah. You know, so I don't, like, if you look at the old website and compare it to the new, it's got a cleaner, fresh, newer look. It could just be color palette. Not saying, you know, our blue is our blue,
Yeah.
you know, but what surrounds it maybe is what makes it look newer and fresher that attracts the eye. I don't know.
Mhm. It's clean.
Yeah, I'm real interested to see, Kat, what the difference in the ads are that you propose for,
Okay.
you know, the social media. I'm really, yeah, of course.
Same but different.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm looking forward to seeing what you,
Yeah.
how it works differently.
Sure. Okay. You'll have to sign up for some things, you know.
Yeah, you mean I have to actually go on these
Yeah.
social media websites? As
You're
long
going
as
to
I
have to
don't
create a
tell-
TikTok account.
As long as I don't have to tell them where I spent my vacation or something, you know.
No, you gotta
Marty
get
will be
somebody to help
posting
you.
TikTok videos, you know,
Yeah, right.
when he shanks a ball in the water or something, you know.
Right.
I mean, there's
Oh,
a
that would be fun.
huge golf, you know, presence on TikTok. So
Right.
Okay.
Marty, you could actually probably blow up.
Well,
on
you
TikTok
know, I'm
and get
anti
huge.
the Chinese Communist Party, so
Oh
you know,
yeah, good
I
to
have a
go.
little problem with TikTok myself, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about your dogs too. TikTok's big on dogs.
Yeah.
My
okay.
wife and kids follow dogs pages.
Me too.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Funny
and they know the dog's names and all of that stuff. Oh, look at the cute pictures today, you know.
Right.
Hey, Marty,
Weird world.
Yeah.
just so you know, you're not alone. I'm with you. I'm going to leave it at that. So,
Okay, I got it. Thanks.
Okay.
We got
I like
young
how Steve
people.
says he's old. He's 1 year older than me, but he always calls himself old.
Yeah. Well,
well, you know, I'm just saying, I just know that's where some of the younger people are, and we just got to figure out how to tap into it a little bit. You know, I guess I'm a little bit of a new traditionalist. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I got it. Yep.
well, you know. Do you have any?
Oh, I'm somewhere between Dave and Matt. I tell you, in upstate, I think really exploring LinkedIn and those possibilities, I think is big up here. I think that's a platform that is heavily utilized professionally with the broker community.
Good.
So whatever we can do, I that will assist with my marketing campaigns that I have up here.
What about Instagram? I mean, is that something that younger people not look at?
Maybe account managers, but I wouldn't say the producers that we're looking to do business with are going to Instagram, at least up here for business purposes. They're using it when they go to the washroom, for the help pass.
Right.
But when they're sitting in their desk, their office, their cubicle, what have you, they're not on those platforms. At least up here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll ask some younger guys.
Okay, let me know, Matt, will you?
Yeah, I will.
I'm serious.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask some younger guys because there's like an Instagram account called The Hard Market, and it's all like jokes about the insurance industry. You have to be like an insurance guy to like join the group, right? So there's all sorts of stuff like that out there.
That's hilarious.
Just like
Well,
insurance.
when you
memes.
let Marty know, let everyone know. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
So do you think people are seeing advertisements on that feed and actually taking advantage of what they're seeing? Again,
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I can tell you, women buy shoes on those things.
Yeah.
That's retail. We're a little different. I'm not sure that's apples and oranges.
Yeah, no, I get you, but people are looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. I just think
I'll
we
look
need
for
to put our
some-
toe in the water.
I'll look for some use cases.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we had this conversation and we went to this extent because I never expected we'd be able to get there, but I'm glad we are.
We have like over 1,000 impressions a month now from just our LinkedIn site on Lovell. That's pretty, it's 1,000 people. Our names popping and they're looking at something that's Lovell related. That's pretty good.
Right.
I'm not sure it's driving a ton of business, but it's not really costing us anything to do it. And we really need to just sort of figure out how to direct that appropriately, so it does generate.
We could also do LinkedIn ads.
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to do it on the free by posting stuff and then having other people share it.
Right.
But we should explore it.
I don't know. I think organic is probably better.
Well, it's cheaper.
Well, Steve's mentioning, 1,000 hits a month. That's just on the Lovell page. I have my own page. Matt has his own page. Bill has his own page. 300-400, however many connections that we have, and not really many of them are mutual. My connections are all people in my territory. Matt's are all in his. So anything that's on there that we want to share out, they're getting impressions from there too. So it's more than just that.
Can we go into your account and share to the Lovell account? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't usually post something straight out on my own. Like we did an announcement about a dividend for a group. We just had a couple of those come out over the past 2 weeks. I reshared that out. It was dividend announcements. So I'm not posting like some people would do on, say, Facebook. I'll be active in it and see people that I correspond with and work with post things and like or maybe make a comment or two here and there, keeping it on the professional level. Someone celebrated 20 years working here. I liked it, so, but when you do that on LinkedIn, other people get notification that you've done that so that they can go or they see your name,
right.
Content is always very important, as you'll always tell us, but getting the name in front of people more and more in different ways, in my, at least I think it's just as important, constantly seeing the name Lovell, every which way they turn, Lovell. Can't forget about us that way.
That's right.
So we cover them on LinkedIn, we cover through emails, other ads,
Okay, but the Google Ads that's paid. You understand? We're not going to be able to do that for free.
I think I just wanted you to just do some not massive investigation, but do they have a methodology for us to sort of explore, and what would the costs be associated with it? That's all.
We can get you that.
But whatever ads you're doing, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok. Those are going to be pretty similar to those platforms. I mean, they'll be a little bit different here and there, but very quick, short message.
Yeah, but TikTok's a totally different world.
I know. I understand. Yeah.
You just don't put your ad there. You've got to.
I understand that. I just, I was just trying to make a point that it's, anyway, I'll let you, I'll let you take back over.
Okay.
Well,
SEO
when someone
when we're
search,
talking Google ads?
What's
What did you
that?
say,
Bill?
Bill?
Are we talking SEO when we're talking Google ads? I mean, paying for search engine optimization when trying to keep when folks type in the word broker, insurance, workers' comp, that we're continually one of the first, because there's studies out there. If you're not hitting the first page of a Google feed, you're not going to be found. And that's part of this SEO procedure, which is very expensive. I looked into it for a few of the charities I'm affiliated with up here, and it's a very expensive process.
Well, we work on that.
Yeah, that's what Cat does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why you
Okay.
will see you on the in Google. You will see Lovell and Google.
I've researched it with other firms as well from a different perspective, from a charitable perspective.
I
here.
see. I see.
And it was way out of our, again, so our budget is very small. But it's a more complex procedure than I had expected and what it entails with the search engine optimization. So
Right.
we featured on a first page, at the worst, a second page of a Google feed. So I'm just putting up what I experienced when I looked into this a couple years ago.
Mhm.
But worth looking into.
Okay.
Okay, are we done? Do you think?
I think we need to get to work and come up with some stuff and show it to you and see what you think. Get
So
some.
why don't, when you have it, why don't we have another one of these meetings?
Yes.
And
Yeah, we'll do that.
by the way, if you did search New York workers' compensation safety groups, we're the fourth hit, sorry.
Click
The
on it, though,
AGC,
Dave.
the State Fund, Friedlander, then Lovell comes up,
Yeah, but
then a
click
few
on it.
others.
well, you know what, if you put in just workers' compensation insurance, which I think is more, how people would search, I don't think they specify safety groups. So what do you get?
What do we get? We get, aside from the initial ads that come up, you get the workers' comp board. Then you get newyork.gov, state insurance fund, newyorkcity.gov, Hartford, senate.gov,
Mhm.
LexisNexis. It's a law thing. Rating board. We're not on page 1. There is a related searches that comes up of workers' comp companies. Hartford, AmTrust is there. Liberty, Chubb, Travelers, Zurich.
Most insurance companies.
Right, but that's what came up, in that whole first page. Second page. I'm not even seeing any other safety groups. Nothing's coming up. Something just came. The Nurses Association. You'd have to have safety groups in there, and if that's in there, then we pop up.
Yeah.
But we don't just pop up. I mean, I'm on page 4. It's not coming up.
All right.
I might have to go 20 pages to see Lovell.
I don't know, I don't know, Kat, if you could have accomplish that, there's a lot of big companies, I don't know what they spend on that to get their names there, but.
Okay.
Safety groups is fine, but, people don't necessarily look for safety groups, they look for workers' comp, so.
Okay. We'll work on that. That's Pete. He's on now. He does
Hi,
our
Pete.
he does our
I-
SEO work.
I don't know about you guys, but I get an awful lot of, ads, if you will, or solicitation from wholesalers about workers' comp, like, all different industries, hard to place, construction,
They must have found your email somewhere.
Yeah, we get them also. A lot of times they pick up our business cards from the trade shows through the years. I get about a dozen things a day. Some
But
of
I mean,
them
I
are,
guess the point I'm making is that workers' comp seems to be a market that a lot of people play in, and they have a lot of, carriers that they work with that obviously really still want workers' comp. So it seems as competitive as ever.
Mhm.
Just a point of information. I'm sure you guys are aware of that. So
Yeah, we get him too. Matt can even recite some of the ads, logos, and mottos because he sees them so many times.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
told me.
Yeah, I would love
What
to know
about-
I would love to know how much Byberg is spending, because when you do a search for workers' comp insurance, they show up on every single page.
Who is that? I'm sorry.
Byberg.
Yeah, they
Even
have-
when you go to
It's like,
page 2,
Berkshire Hathaway direct writers.
You ever see the ad on TV? It's called Pie, easy as pie.
Oh yeah, pies.
Pie,
We've
lemonade.
voted and
few.
taken business away from them, Marty.
Have we?
Yeah, we have.
Well, that's good. So, not so easy as pie, I guess.
Not so easy.
Yeah.
What was
Hey,
the one that I
Marty,
did?
you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Well, we could try, I guess. But
I see these competitors here. Well, we'll look at that, see what it takes to get up into that route.
Actually, I wrote one this month, Marty, that we took away from Pi, which is also Sirius America Insurance Company.
yeah, by the way, I'm gonna probably strangle my dog any minute here, but
How old is your daughter?
Oh, he thinks he's a Rottweiler or something. He's like 10
Your
pounds.
Your dog or your daughter?
No, I have a daughter that I'm aware of anyway.
Okay.
No Dave Wood stories.
Yeah.
Inside joke?
Very.
Yeah.
I want somebody to tell me.
Ugh.
All right, so we have a plan. You're going to get back to us and we'll get together and
That's the
we'll go
plan.
from there.
That's the
Okay.
plan, Steve. Okay, I hope everybody that's sick gets better soon.
Hey,
Yeah,
Kat, can you stay on just for a second? I have something I wanted to just briefly discuss with you.
Sure, absolutely. I'll be on. I'm stay on.
All
All
right.
right, Kat, take care, Kat.
See you
Yeah,
guys.
Take care,
Kat,
guys.
nice seeing you.
Feel
Good night.
better.
Everyone else have a
Matt.
good weekend.
Thanks,
All right.
Marty.
Every
Bye-bye.
weekend, everybody.
Take
You
care.
too. Take care. Bye-bye.
How you doing, Kat?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, can Pete stay on?
Was this,
Oh, no, he left.
yeah, was this helpful, I hope, for you?
Very
Okay.
helpful, very helpful. I can see this train moving along. Makes me very happy.
He's
Very
coming along. Listen, I have a great respect for Marty. You could probably hear that in the
Yeah, of course.
in my conversation. So, and I think he's right with regards to the existing brand. I don't. At first, when I came, I was like, I wanted to really change things up, but you've seen me sort of step back and change my tune. I still want to change things up, but I want to do it in a very measured way. I don't want to do anything to hurt what's been built for the last 80
Yeah.
years. So
But it can still go forward. It can still,
it has to.
sure.
If it doesn't, if
Yeah.
you're not changing and moving forward, you're dying. It's
That's
that
right.
simple. So I mean, we'll figure that out. I wanted to give you a heads up. We had a little problem with our quick estimate. It wasn't major. There was no, and we've done a soft rollout, but I'm about to hit an email button that's going to go out to all the brokers in New York to tell them our new website's out.
Mhm.
And then I have it scheduled for Monday night for anybody who didn't open it up to resend it. Okay. So I wanted to give you a heads up.
Why are you doing it at night? Why are you doing it at night?
Because we've been trying to fix the damn, what do you call it? The issue we had. We just got it fixed. Otherwise I would have done it yesterday.
Okay, but usually early in the morning it hits the people's boxes and that's when they.
All right, then I'll do it Monday morning then.
Or
That's what I'll do.
Tuesday morning. Tuesday is the best day of the week.
Yeah. So,
That way, sure. Tuesday
yeah,
morning, 6 a.m.
And then with that, I have some other stuff that we're gonna end up doing. So I want to tie that into what Scar's doing. We don't have to tie them in, right? We don't have to. They can actually be independent of one another. But I want to make sure you guys are looped in as to what we're doing, on our email stuff last that we're going to hit, and to sort of try to coincide those two. I don't want to just do it in a vacuum. Okay.
Well, I've just backed off. If you have me do something, tell me to do something, I will, but I backed off because you're running the show here. I mean, this isn't how I would normally operate, but whatever you are doing, go ahead, and we will pick up in social media.
Well, no, I mean, you've been doing 3 postings a week. I mean, it seems pretty, pretty steady. I've been letting you, I've just sort of going along with it.
Okay, but what I'm saying is I could build those things for you. I mean, they're not that different from what we used before.
No, they're not. I'm not looking to change it. We just did it real quick. We had a group do it, and it's just an issue of us gaining some not expertise but familiarity with the process. So please don't trying to think of the right word I want to use here. I'm happy with the stuff you guys are doing. Okay, and I know we can build on it. It's just an issue of time, cost, and money, and being able to direct that. And I hope to have more control and over that in the year to come. But
you would have 100% control. We could still work with you. That's what I'm saying. But if you have people inside you've trained to do this, then
I can't. You're not going to work for free. I understand that. You know what I mean? So we have to look at what we're spending and say, okay, I don't really have much of a budget, but I'm getting buy-in because, little things are happening. Like, somebody used our document upload and they, sent an email saying how great it was. You know what I mean? Just little things like that. And we only have it hidden in the week and didn't tell anybody. You know what I mean? So, I think Barry's like sort of pleased with that. I keep explaining to him, listen, Cat's group's out putting stuff out. Okay. And the name and the brand is getting pushed, right? And then we're building on that internally as well. I don't have any money to give you more, is what I'm trying to say to you. But I do think, we may be able to take some of the stuff you're doing, and I can give you stuff that's more important. Is what we have to figure that out. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Okay. Right. I don't have more money to give you. So if we're gonna spend $3,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000, whatever that number ends up being, okay. I need it to be the stuff that's going to matter the most for me. You know what I mean? Where I'm going to use your expertise.
Yeah. And
please don't take this the wrong way. What you're doing is very valuable to us, but I think we could tap a little bit better into your expertise in some of those routine things we might be able to handle ourselves until I can get more budget. Does that make me? And I think I've been really clear with you on this. I'm not.
No, I get it.
I'm not unhappy with the work that's being done, and you've been a valued partner, and I don't want to do anything to impact that.
Well, now that I see that you are maybe reaching out, and we'll think about what we can do in LinkedIn and Instagram and Google Ads. These are things will help you in your SEO. That the guys.
I know. So that's why that's where I would rather spend my money. You follow where I'm. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I can throw a picture up on LinkedIn. Please don't take it the wrong way. You know what I mean? With the quick message. Someone's got to do that. And what you're doing is valuable because there ain't nobody in house to do it right now, except me. All right. And that's not a good use of my time. Yeah. But the point being is, at some point, maybe we will have somebody in house that can do it. And it may be better to have you do the more technical stuff. That's all I'm trying to say to you. And until I can get more spend, that I'd rather use that money. I don't want to decrease it. I just want to use it as optimally as possible. Okay. And I don't want to take advantage of the relationship. You are in the business of making money, and your goal is to help us make money.
That's right.
And I just want you to help us the best way you can. Not, and I haven't figured that out, but any suggestions you have are greatly appreciated. Okay.
All right.
I haven't wavered since we had our chat. You know what I mean? And I think, I think you're probably getting a better appreciation. Marty has, as a partner, has free reign. I don't have that, right? I'm not a partner. Yeah. Okay. So
can I bring up something right now?
Yeah.
I know you're, or what the hell was that? I know you were, and when you bring out your site, when you do your your launch, right?
It's launched.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But you might consider bringing up your social media up at the top. Near the login on that side where the phone is, up in that top tier in little symbols, because people aren't going to see it down at the bottom, and you can see it's an important thing to do is to bring out your social media right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll talk to him about that next week. Okay.
And we gave information to Stanley about how he can bring in the blogger into the news area.
Yeah, he's working on it. We just aren't there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we should be. We might be able to put it up near the login. You know what I mean, on our site. Yeah.
Yes.
You notice we have a accessibility thing over there. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yes, I do.
You can give it a click, it opens up, and you have all these accessibility tools.
Right.
So
Right. That's very good. That's very good. The people, that can't type well or whatever,
yeah,
those things help. But
I had him add that. So
good for you. But what I'm saying is bringing it at the top, if you had your social and your news up at the top, that will help SEO.
All right. I see what you're saying. You want these three things, and then maybe we can do like a Lovell News thing, little icon or something. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
All right. I'll look into it.
All right.
All right. Thanks. Remind me if I don't act on
Okay,
it next time we talk.
Okay.
You have a nice weekend, Kat. It's a pleasure. Appreciate your time. Okay. Yep.
Feel better.
Thank you.
Alrighty,
Yep. Bye now.